And before we go further on the economy in Kaduna State, we'll be trying to speak with the NLC president, Mr. Joe Ajero, on the new minimum wage. Good morning and welcome to Newstrack.
Good morning.
Okay, fine. What is your position on the new national minimum wage as you're proposing in the midst of a economic dilemma that the country is facing with the removal of fuel subsidy and the weakening of the naira and the inflation at hand?
Well, I think ordinarily question. The weakening of the naira was caused by a human being. It's man-made. The removal of subsidy is man-made. So that same man that inflicted this will equally be remove it. I think it's a simple one, and not to ask, what labor would do, whether labor should be back on indefinite fasting, because of the actions or inactions of the leaders of the country.
Finally, we know that you proposed 615,000 naira minimum wage, which was rejected. 48,000 naira was the position of the government. Where do you stand right now? And should they say, nay, we're going to stick with our position, what are you prepared to do?
Well, assuming we didn't say anything, you and I will suffer it. But the issue is that they have not rejected our proposal and they have not addressed it. What they just said is, we are going to pay 48,000, and it was not based on any guideline, because in wage negotiation, you have to look at it, you have to break it down and why you arrived at it. And when Labour presented theirs from what should be housing allowance, transportation, feeding, and all that, what they did was to just mention that we're going to pay you 48,000. And 48,000, as far as those of us in Labour are concerned, amounts to wage reduction. Because as of today, the federal civil servants, should be earning 77,000, because the old minimum wage was 30,000. President Buhari, before he left office, brought what he called peculiar allowance of 40%, which added 12,000 to it, bringing it to 42,000. And then by the time we got wage award of 35,000, it brought it to 77,000. Should the same federal government now say we are proposing 40,000? So are they going to wage reduction or wage increase? The same thing with the organized private sector. In the organized private sector, this pay as of today is 78,000. And for them to now make a presentation of 54,000, it's either wage freeze that they are proposing or wage reduction. And you see that that is not the same meeting we are attending. We are attending meeting for salary increase and not reduction.
Okay, so now you're giving the government to the end of the month. Where do you go from there?
Well, that is still pending. From May 1 was when we gave till the end of May for a resolution of all these issues. And that May 1, May ending is still pending. Until then, we will know what to do. However, even since we left yesterday, there has been informal discussions, and I think there is a mix-up from some governors who are not paying. Governors like that of Anambra State, who are insisting that even that they can't pay the old minimum wage, even without any justification. Governors like that of Anambra State, who is deducting pension and not remitting, who is still not able to address the workers' ultimatum of March, and that will be testing the might of labor in the next 1 week. Those are the people that are running to the governors' forum, to gather them together to say that can't even pay 30,000 naira. And even with the nature of Anambra, where you have the resources coming from both Onitsha and Nnewi, you can see Edo saying wanted to pay 70,000 and that they are going to comply with whatever the federal government pays. Whereas the governor of Anambra State is gathering other governors to make sure that nothing is paid at all. So, and we have identified those governors, and then we are going to do the needful.
One certainly hopes for an amicable resolution for both parties concerned that leaves the workers smiling and the federal government as well in a good place. Thank you, Mr. Joe Ajero, the president of the Nigeria Labour Congress, who joined us from Abuja.
Thank you very much.